Hello everybody and welcome back to the British Pokemon League show. I am your host, Matt Starr. Many apologies that we are 2 days late on this, guys. Unfortunately, Britain decided to get hit by a giant microwave. It was just far too hot to host the stream the last 2 days. So we moved to Wednesday. This would normally be Aaron T. Marshall's slot for the championship show. Unfortunately, Aaron has had a bit of a personal thing come up, so the championship show will be moved to tomorrow night. So you can catch all the week 3 action from the championship show tomorrow with our host, Mr. T. Marshall. But for now, we have got all of the week 3 Premier Division action coming your way, and we are closing in ever closer now on the mid-season trade window where things start to get a bit spicy and we get into that business end of the season, as always, that slow descent towards playoffs where we'll be hitting around about October time, but we've got plenty more Pokemon left to play until we get to that point. So let's take a look at the league table after week numero 2. Miami Heat find themselves atop the British Pokemon League. Very familiar sight is that one. Miami Heat sat at the top there on 2-0, plus 4 goal difference, game difference. I always call it goal difference. Plus 4 game difference. You know, both 2-0 wins in in last first 2 games. Absolutely smashing it so far. Closely followed behind by Scary Scrub and Deimos Deoxys as well, both on 2-0 as well. Both with 2-1 wins in their first 2 games, which means they're 1 point behind in game difference. Then we've got Aaron and his Inglorious Surfers on 1-1. Scuba Squirtles, Bulu Boys, South Croydon Saws, Space EPC, and Kyogre Canucks all on 1-1. Hardly separated by anything at all. 5 out of them 6 teams all on the +0 game difference. Only Aaron on the +1, keeping himself in that 4th place slot. And down at the bottom there, occupying those final 3 spots, California Bastions, Crimma Colossals, and Newcastle Thunderers will all be looking for their first wins of the season this week. As you'll see in the schedule in a minute, though, one of those 3 teams is destined to almost definitely get a win this week. As you can see there in that 4th slot, we'll get that in a minute. 2 teams there battling each other in a very early relegation 6-point. But to kick things off today, we have got a tale as old as time. It is Inglorious Surfers, Aaron T. Marshall versus myself, the Bulu Boys. Me and Aaron have had many battles in the past. Always enjoyed battling that guy. And that ought to be a doozy, so we will kick the show off with that. Then followed by Deimos Deoxys taking on Miami Heat. So you've got 3rd place versus 1st place. Early doors at battle like this always, want to tantalise the taste bud. So that should be a very exciting matchup. We'll see if one of those teams can continue their unbeaten streak. Then Scary Scrub take on Kyogre Canucks. Canucks getting that for their first win of the season. Or the Bulu Boys last week. Scrub be looking to move to 3-0 and continue that unbeaten streak. Then, as we mentioned there, Newcastle Thunderers taking on California Bastions, both looking for their first wins of the season. One of those 2 teams will be getting that elusive first win of the season. And hopefully move out of that bottom 3, but it's getting very tight at the bottom there. Then we've got Space City PC taking on South Croydon Saws. These 2 battled each other many times since Meme joined in season 3. Chris will be looking to try and get one over on Meme. I think these 2 have sort of shared wins over the last couple of seasons, if I can remember correctly. So that ought to be an exciting battle. And then to finish things off, we've got the Crimma Colossals taking on Scuba Squirtles. Neil's losing out to Aaron and Inglorious Surfers last week. And Dr. Dave will be looking for that first win of the season against Niels and his Squirtles. So, is it going to be the week where that Gothitelle strat finally pulls off? Or has that been put on the back burner for Dr. Dave and co? We will certainly see. But let's get into the first game of the evening then. It is the Bulu Boys taking on the Inglorious Surfers then. So straight away off the bat, we saw last week that Alakazam Tapu Lele duo, the Psy Spam duo, if you will, proving to be so strong and lethal. And I think very much the same, that duo, has a lot of potential to be very strong in this matchup. There's only the 2 Psychic Resists on that Bulu Boys side in Mew and Klinklang. While Klinklang has, pretty decent defenses, as does Mew, the 100 base stats across the board. Mega Alakazam under the terrain, it's going to hit hard. And as I said, not a lot of other resists across the board, not too high special defenses either, so definitely something to watch out for. But if the Bulu Boys can get Trick Room going off, early doors, then maybe that has a way to reverse it. You've got things like the Banette, you've got Renurigus, and Mew that can learn Ghost Moves, and Primarina as well also gets Shadow Ball, which could work really well against the likes of the Alakazam, Tapu Lele, Aegislash sort of thing. But another duo to watch out for as well is, of course, it's not more of a trio really in Houndoom Vulpix and Lilligant Hisui as well. You know, Lilligant Hisui going to get that Chlorophyll ability procced. You know, just another reason to try and get that Trick Room up. But that Houndoom in its Mega Form, if Aaron chooses to bring it in its Mega Form, going to be able to do really huge damage into Mew, Banette, Reneragus, you know, Klinklang, Tangela, you know, a Selgar. It hits so much across the board. That Houndoom really going to be a problem Pokemon if Aaron chooses to bring it. But, you know, on the same side, also, you know, a Selgar with that 143 base speed stat can really sort of shake things up a bit. You know, you've got access to Acid Spray there, drop the special defenses, bring in something like the Primarina, and you're going to be able to hit things really, really hard. You know, something like the Titanic here doesn't look, you know, too terrible. While it doesn't have the best defenses, you know, an early dodge Shell Smash here, there's not really a lot on Aaron's team that can hit that for super effective damage or has access to moves to do so. You know, and then Titanic, if we can get some heat waves, rock slides, things like that off, you know, depending on whether it's a physical or special build, can prove to be a really, really, you know, strong, you know, foe to phase off. You know, as Aaron proved last season, you know, Aaron used Titanite on the odd occasion last season, and it proved to be quite a difficult customer. Well, guys, I'm not going to spend too long rambling on this one. We're going to get straight into it. It is a Bulu Boys taking on the Inglorious Surfers. So, Bulu Boys kicking things off. We've got the Banette, Selgar, Mew, Chansey, Primarina, and Runerigus. Aaron with the Tapu Lele, Aegislash, Morgrem making his debut, Alakazam, Lipad, and Lumenion then. So Lumenion, you know, is going to be a great counter to something like the Primarina, but leading things off with the Lipad and Morgrem. So Morgrem making his debut for that Inglorious Surface lineup. Of course, has access to Prankster screens, stuff like Prankster, Swagger, and what else? Obviously, we said about Fake Out, Foul Play. You've got Spirit Break on there, and Lipad as well. So is that going to be the Prankster Lipad? You know, Lipad also with that Fake Out there available. We saw last week it running the Psychic Seed to proc that on bed, and you know, Lipad then becomes the fastest thing known to man, and you know, then you don't really need the Prankster ability there. But, you know, where it can sort of go wrong is if there is a Trick Room coming, which potentially could be on its way from either of these Pokemon here. But either Mew or Reneragus have access to Trick Room, of course Mew also with access to Tailwind as well, if you wanted to go down that route. Mew also with a Fake Out there as well. It is going to be the faster Fake Out and gets the Fake Out onto the Morgrem there as well. So Morgrem going to take the flinch. Lipad going for the Night Slash into the Mew, but Mew not going to take too much damage from that. And the Reneragus does indeed get the Trick Room up in that first turn. So 4 turns left or Trick Room. Mew going down to below half damage. So Lipad getting some, you know, some good chip away to the Mew, more importantly. You know, you would expect this turn sort of Morgrem if it wasn't going for the Vega out in that turn one, it was more than likely going for screens. You would expect screens to go up in this next turn. You know, with the Reneragus being more of a physical build, you would expect maybe the Reflect to go up. Obviously, potential for Primarina to be in the back there. So Light Screen potentially as well. A good play to make here. You know, nothing revealed in the back for either team just yet. We know Aaron does like to make, you know, does like to switch things around, but you know, maybe is wanting the one of these two to go down, just allowing that free switch. And there goes the Reflect. Body Press comes out into the Lipad. It's going to take Lipad down half HP. Mew goes to the Explosion. Of course, not going to hit anything on the Reneragus. Takes out the Lipad. Morgrem just about hanging on for dear life. And what is in the back there for the Bulu Boys? What is in the back for Aaron T. Marshall's? Down to 3 apiece. So Mew taking itself out, but taking Lipad with it. You have to say if there was no screens up there, then Morgrem probably goes down as well. So smart plays there from Aaron. In comes a Selgar then and Alakazam. 2 of the fastest things on the field coming into the play under Trick Room. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this plays off. You know, Aaron maybe just seeing what's what in front of him and you know, not really you know, being too worried about what could be coming his way, can maybe weather the storm until Trick Room ends. You know, that's a play you can always make. Try and stall out the Trick Room if you can sort of take the hits. It's never a bad play to make. Oh, a little bit of a screen freeze there, guys. I do apologise. Reneragus, you know, we saw it last week running a completely different strat. We saw it with the Weakness Policy procced by Aquajet from the Azurill, passing over its huge power. Unfortunately, not able to get it off after the flinch. And things went a little bit pear-shaped here. Is there another goofy strat coming the way from Bulu Boys? As In switches in the chances of making the switch, and Protect comes out from the Selgar. Protect coming the way of the Alakazam as well. Morgrem going for the Sucker Punch. That's going to fail, obviously, the Selgar going for the Protect. And now here we go then. 2 more turns of Trick Room to go. I think Selgor is slower than Alakazam, so either way, you know, Selgor is going to move second here. Is it going to move? No, sorry, we're into Trick Room. Of course, Chansey would be moving first, as you would expect. Morgan with its, you know, its wrist revealed Sucker Punch then, of course, has the Prankster abilities. So I'm going to ignore the Trick Room being up. I like him big. I like him Chansey. There, the Alakazam does go to Mega Trace, does copy the Serene Grey. Sucker Punch comes out into the Selgor, not doing damage until the final Gambit comes out, takes out the Morgan, and the Chansey goes to the copycat against the final Gambit, and down goes the Alakazam, down goes the Chansey, and all of a sudden it is a 1v1. What a crazy turn that ends up turning out to be. Reflect up for another couple of turns. Lele, the final Pokemon on the side of the Inglorious surface. Renerigus, the final Pokemon on the side of the Bulu boys. Is there a Ghost move on that Renerigus? If so, then this could be all over for Aaron in this first game. You would imagine Lele is running a Shadow Ball there just to deal with the, you know, the bit of a Ghost type weakness on that Bulu boy side. But still, 1 more turn of Trick Room to go, so Renerigus in a good spot here to get a good hit off. Scrolling over the moves there, it doesn't look to be that there is a Ghost with the Zen Headbutt, which is not doing much, with the Resist and the Reflect going up. Shadow Ball doing about half damage to the Renerigus. Trick Room now ending. There doesn't seem to be a Ghost move on the Renerigus, as the Glorious Surface about to take an unlikely victory in this game. Number 1, Shadow Ball not going to quite take out Renerigus, does drop the special defenses this time around, comes out with a Body Press. That's also doing nothing to Lele. And that is going to be all she wrote. Aaron T. Marshall going to take this game at number 1. Oh, that is unfortunate. You have to think that maybe there's a Ghost move there, or Renerigus that maybe goes a little bit differently. Shadow Ball gets the job done, and Aaron takes game number 1. Very, very close game. Into game 2, we go then Tapu Lele and Lipard leading the line this time. So is it going to be the Unburdened Lipard? This time it is the Burnett and the Mew coming out from the Bulu boy side. So Frisk going to reveal the Choice Scarf on the Lele. Of course, it is the Psychic Seed on the Lipard that's already been revealed by the terrain going up. So, of course, going to be the Mega Burnett. The only Mega on that Bulu boy's side, and of course Aaron's already revealed the Alakazam to be his Mega, but of course again that's the only Mega in his team of 6 there. So what is in the back this time round from Mr. T. Marshall, and have things switched up on the other side for Bulu boys as well. We will see if the Burnett goes for the Mega. There's the Night Slash into the Mew. Does half damage again, but Aaron doubles into the Mew. Down goes the Mew. Burnett comes out with the Gunk Shot, and Gunk Shot takes out the Lele, and we're at 3 apiece. Burnett getting the Oko onto the Lele, so gets rid of that thing early doors. Doesn't look to be any Trick Room this time around. In switches in the Alakazam, in switches in the Primarina. So Aaron, obviously with speed control at the minute, Alakazam going to be much, much faster than just about everything on the field, barring Lipard, which has had a rocket strapped to its backside thanks to that Psychic Seed going off and proccing Unburden. But Burnett not in a terrible position here. If he can get a hit off, out comes the Snarl from the Lipard. It's going to drop the special attack on the Primarina. So good move choice there from Aaron. Out comes the Expanding Force. Gets a critical hit, which is going to take out the Burnett. Gets a good amount of damage off there at the Primarina as well. The Moonblast not taking out the Lipard, as you would have expected it would have done without the special attack drop. There's now a 2v3 as Chansey switches into play. And oh, this is about to get very, very difficult very fast for the Bulu boys. As we would say in chat, crit mattered. Cycle Cook coming out from the Lipad. That's not really doing too much. The Prima Marina going to live for the Expanding Force. Moonblast is going to take out the Lipad then. Chansey going for the soft boiled, keeps itself in play. What is that final put on from Aaron? It is the Aegis Slash, and I think the Chansey's not going to have any way to hit it, and Prima Marina just about dead. It is Assault Vest Prima Marina as well, so no protection to be able to come out here. So it looks to be this one over very, very quickly, almost as quickly as it started in 4 turns, both games with game, set, and match. Do apologise if you can hear any rattling in the background, guys. That is my fan. It is still very hot here in England today. The Expanding Force going to take out the Prima Marina, the Chansey going for the size of Tox, trying get something done. The Ironhead comes out from the Aegis Slash, and we're just going to be in an endless battle of soft boiled now. I think Chansey, all it can really do is go for those seismic tosses into Alakazam, but it cannot hit the Aegis Slash. So this is going to be all she wrote in this game. Aaron T. Marsh on his surface going to take this one in a 2-0 fashion. Soft boiled, just, you know, a bit pointless at this point. You know, the Ironhead and Expanding Force is doing just enough to sort of keep it in that range. Seismic Toss not going to quite do enough to take out Alakazam, but there is the killing blow. Ironhead takes it out, and Aaron takes the win in that game. Yeah, GG's to Aaron. I don't know what to say. I'm just happy I got the final Gambit play off. It was just a shame that I was silly and didn't put a Ghost move on the Reneragus, but you know, that is the way it goes sometimes. It's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah, GG's to Aaron. He played so well in that game too as well. I just had no answer for it, and the Expanding Force spam from Alakazam, I had absolutely no answer to it. And once I saw Aegis Slash was in the back there, I kind of knew it was the game was up. But yeah, no, he played really well, and Aaron getting the 2-0 win moves Aaron to 2-1. Bulu Boys moving to 1-2 record. So, you know, still all to play for. Plenty of Pokemon left to play, as we say here in the British Pokemon League. Let's get into this next game. Then it is first place versus third place. Deimos Deoxys taking on Miami Heat, and well. That has been on one hell of a tear thus far this season. You know, as we mentioned in previous weeks, just sort of the two speed controls just seem to work so well from him and just sort of complement each other. You know, Lat's able to, you know, pick one and play one in game one, and then just completely switches it up and goes the other way in game two. And you know, he tends to do that with his teams. You always find he has, you know, four Pokemon that run one strat in game one, and then 4 that run another strat in game two, and that seems to just be working so well for him. You know, that Togekiss has been absolute monster thus far, you know, alongside that Zeraora as well, and Crobat been getting the kills in early doors. So, you know, Lumaris is going to have a lot of things to answer for, but that Landorus Incarnate looks really strong here, you know, into a lot of Lat's team. You know, there's only really the Gyarados, and you know, things like the Kecleon maybe, and you know, what else here? The Zeraora potentially. That could cause major problems to that Landorus, but you know, you've got things like Air Power, Rock Slides, you know, Earthquake on that thing that can really sort of mess with a lot of what Lat wants to do with his team there. And you know, pair that next to something like the Jirachi, or you know, with this Follow Me, or you know, Meowstic with the Fake Outs there, and you're going to be in really good stead. You know, if you can catch Lat out, you know, picking the wrong speed control, you've got Aromatisse there, which obviously has access to Trick Room. You know, and you've also got you know, speed in things like the Electrode and Sceptile there as well, if it decides to go to a Mega. I think Altaria as well also gets Tailwind. You know, so options for speed control on Lumaris' side there as well, but you know, really going to have to be careful for that Togekiss Zeraora duo, and keep an eye open as well for Typhlosion. We know Lat loves to fling a Scarf on that thing and spam Eruption on Typhlosion. It can be really lethal if it catches you out. But yeah, I think things like the Sork, Maina probably stay home in this one. You know, I think Sork's going to be very much a niche pick to teams that are more weak to fighting. Maina I don't really see coming very often at all, unless to use some sort of, you know, to use Intimidate. So, you know, that's not to say Lat won't ever use it. The guy's a smart player. He'll find some way of bringing it into his team. But yeah, there's definitely options on that Deimos Deoxys side as well. You know, it's also got Greninja that can potentially go for the Ash Greninja if he's able to get a KO. And you know, there's also pledge options there with Blaziken and Greninja as well. You know, the Water Pledge, Fire Pledge sort of strat could work really well in Lumaris' favour. But that's all hearsay. Who knows what's going to happen in this one? But let's get into this. I'll stop my rambling. Miami Heat take on Deimos Deoxys. Let's get into this one. A big shout out to Ted from the Championship Division, as always, for getting the recording on this one. Don't know what we'd do without you. And there it is, Lumaris leading the line with Sceptile, and Electrode has got the Greninja, the Aromatisse, the Blaziken, and the Meowstic in the back. Latvian with the Trevenant, Torjicus, Camerupt, and Gyarados in the back has got leading the line with the Zeraora, and Crobat has got Balloon on the Zeraora. There's Quick Guard coming out from the Sceptile that's going to block the fake out on the Electrode. This is massive. Then Lumaris goes out for the discharge. It's going to give Sceptile that Lightning Rod boost. Crobat just about going to hang on to Zeraora. Not going to take any damage from that, of course, with that Volt Absorb ability. So that's the only downside to this strat from Lumaris. He's not going to be able to really hit Zeraora with that Electrode, and potentially heals it back up if Sceptile's not getting the KO with it. Latvian getting the tailwind off with Crobat there as well, more importantly, giving him that speed control early doors. Crobat we've seen in previous weeks, just likes to just brave bear this thing and just take things out in one go. Blaze Kick comes out from the Zeraora, not doing quite enough to Electron, but the brave bear takes out the Sceptile, gets the Oko, does take itself out in the process, so we'll go with 3v3 with the discharge. Not going to do anything to Zeraora, the Volt Absorb, so Electrode's move there is wasted. You'd like to think maybe he should have went a little down a different route there, you know, knowing that the tailwind was up, but now in switches in the Torjicus. This is where, you know, potentially Electrode can thrive, you know, to get a hit off into Torjicus and Aromatisse coming in as well for Lumaris. So potentially a Trick Room going off here, try and reverse the speeds and, you know, catch it out while that tailwind is up. Comes out with the Plasma Fist into Aromatisse. Aromatisse not taking too much of a hit from that. And the Dazzling Gleam going to take out Electrode, gets a big hit in Aromatisse. Moonblast going to get the critical hit on Zeraora, which does pop its balloon as well, but not going to take it out. And Greninja revealed to be the final Pokemon on Lumaris' side. There's all systems go here from Latvia and just controlling things with this duo once again as he's going to switch out into the Gyarados, going to get the Intim off on Aromatisse and Greninja. Greninja comes out from the Protect, which it is Protein, so it's going to change its type into normal. The Dazzling Gleam gets the kill on Aromatisse, and now it is all up to Greninja in a 1v3. Latvian just coming out of the gates flying once again. Ice Beam from the Greninja, going to give it that stab. Ice Beam to Torjicus though does manage to hang on. Dragon Dance coming out from the Gyarados, and there is the Air Slash from Torjicus, gets a big hit off into Greninja. So Greninja going to most likely be the fastest thing on the field here, but Gyarados with that Dragon Dance now is going to give itself that nice speed boost and the attack buff as well. I think Lumaris is going to have to concede this first game. Latvian just proving to be too strong. Ice Beam is going to get rid of Greninja, but the Waterfall going to get rid of Greninja from Gyarados, and Latvian takes this game number 1. Then to into game 2 we go. Does Lumaris stick with that duo of Electrode and Sceptile, and does he try and sort of bait and read the tailwind coming off and go for that Trick Room with the Aromatisse? But it is the Trick Room setter of Trevenant for Latvian next to his Zeraora is sticking with it with the Sceptile and Electrode, so not choosing to switch it out. And Trevenant is going to pick up that there is the Life Orb there with its Frisk ability. We expect a Quick Guard to come out from that Mega Sceptile then, and there it is. Quick Guard is going to block the fake out, so it just baits and reads that. Comes out with the Taunt, does Electrode, so that's going to block the Trick Room going up on Latvian. So smart, you know, move choices there from the Mars on that Electrode. I didn't even know Electrode could get Taunt, but yeah, sees that coming, doesn't go for the discharge straight off the bat, but does go for it this time. Not going to really do a whole lot to Trevenant. Does resist that, of course, but gets the boost to Sceptile. Dragon Balls, oh, Zeraora just about hangs on. Blaze Kick, not going to quite do too much to Sceptile, but the Poison Jab does get the KO onto Sceptile from Trevenant. And, oh, man, Zeraora only just hanging on. You'd like to think maybe that was a roll. It gets very, very unlucky there. In switches in the Greninja then, so Lat unable to get that Trick Room up. You would expect that he has, since he has gone for the Trevenant, that you would think Camerupt is waiting in the wings in the back this time. Aromatisse now going to switch in for that Electrode. Out comes the Grass Knot. So Latvia making a great switch as Torjicus comes in, makes the read. Hornleech not going to do too much to Greninja. Greninja switching its typing thanks to that Grass Knot. But yeah, Latvian making a great switch out there. Torjicus not going to take too much damage from the Grass Knot. And now Electrode switching back in. Heat Wave comes out from Torjicus. He's going to miss the Aromatisse because it does a little bit of damage to Electrode. Heal Pulse is going to get Electrode back into full HP, but Trevenant now does get the Trick Room update. It is Room Service Torjicus then. So Latvia does love that Room Service. Ding-a-ling-a-ling is his bell. Waiter brings up the champagne and the steak. Lat serves it up on a plate and takes the win, is usually how these things go. After you coming out now, the Electrode, uses the Thunderbolts, the smart stuff there from Lumaris at Aromatisse spec nice and slow, allowing Electrode to go first. Electrode though is going to go down to Hornleech. Now is a 2v4 in favour of Latvian, and switches in, does Greninja. Greninja going to be way faster than everything on the field here. Protect coming out from Greninja, then just try and stall out those final couple times. The Trick Room Paralyze does come out from Torjicus, which allows Aromatisse to take it out. It finally gets a killing ball. Poison Jab not going to quite do enough to Aromatisse, but get some good damage off that. Aromatisse is very, very bulky, don't forget. Latvian now only just losing his first Pokemon, so he's got another 2 down to go down. But 2 turns left of Trick Room. What is that? That one he's going to bring in next then. If obviously revealed Zeraora and Torjicus, you would expect it to be the Camerupt. Brings in the Zeraora though, so potentially just giving him that option for fake outs. The smart stuff there from Latvian gives him another chance for Trevenant to take something out. Zeraora on such low HP as well that he gets the free switch out from it regardless. There is the fake out into Greninja. Moonblast is indeed going to take out that Zeraora. Hornleech going to get rid of Greninja. So now it's all up to Aromatisse in a 2v1. In switches in the Camerupt. Camerupt might not even need to Mega here, to be honest, to get the KO. Aromatisse has slow HP. And Latvian then going to take a third 2-0 in a row. Absolutely on a roll in this season's TBPL. Looking like nobody going to be able to stop him thus far. But there it is, 2-0 to Latvian. Lumaris taking his first defeat of the season. GG's to both players. Yeah, wow. Lat just looked fully in control for both those games there. Even when the taunt went off into Trevenant, it didn't seem to sort of phase him. He didn't seem to look really any trouble. He was just able to just sort of stall it out. Get the Trick Room up, and from there really it just kind of had it. The after you on Aromatisse was very, very cool. Almost got the KO on the Torjicus there from Electrode, so that was smart from Lumaris. Some smart players there, smart tech players, which we always like to see, but not quite enough in the end. But yeah, another 2-0 win for Latvian moves him to 3-0, as I said. Lumaris taking that first defeat of the season, moving up to 2-1. But next up, we've got another undefeated team as the Scary Squirrel Kirky take on Rylect and his Kyogre Canucks. As we mentioned earlier, the Canucks getting their first win of the season over the Bulu boys. And, looking really, really strong with that Charger Bug in play. That thing paired next to the heavy hitters of, your Excadrill, your Latias, Nidoqueen. You're giving them that attack boost, really, really pays dividends. And, this team as well going to work super, super well under Trick Room. So is that going to sway Kirky from going for the Trick Room, just to enable his Melmetal? Thus far, that Melmetal has been on an absolute tear the first 2 weeks. And I'm sure Kirky will be trying to do more of the same with that thing, launching with the Water, or getting the fake out, follow me off, or Dino getting the Trick Room up with its Mega, and then switching on the Melmetal and letting it do Melmetal things. Definitely a few options on that Canuck seem to be able to take out Melmetal. You've got a few things with Heat Wave there, Nidoqueen, of course, with those stab air powers, potentially with that getting that sheer force boost as well. It's going to give Melmetal some problems. But certainly, on the other side of things, you've got things like the Landorus T, which has not really been revealed on that Skrelp side just yet, and Hydreigon as well, which is going to be such a good answer in Latias. And Hydreigon, as we know, does get access to Heat Wave, which is going to give quite a little bit of quite a few problems to a lot of that Canucks team. You know, the Excadrill, Delmies, you know, Maractus, Charger Bug. Not going to enjoy dealing with that Hydreigon. I want to say Hydreigon gets Grass Knot as well, which is, you know, is going to leave Gigalith open as well. It's such a good Pokemon to have on that Skrelp side. You know, if he doesn't, you know, if Trick Room has gone down or Melmetal has gone down, he's got that there as an option, you know, to start taking things out. So definitely something to be wary of from that Canuck side. You know, similarly, you know, if you can enable Excadrill and Gigalith to work together, you know, Excadrill either getting that Sand Rush or Sand Force ability enabled by Gigalith setting up the sand, then that can be just as lethal as well in the scary Skrelp team. You know, Excadrill with a pretty wide move pool, Gigalith as well. Despite it being slow, going to be able to just sit there and tank a lot of hits, you know, thing with very high physical defense. Not so high special defense, but that high physical defense is going to, you know, put it in a good position against that Skrelp side. Whether it can live a double Iron Bash from Melma over that, you know, that Iron Fist ability, who knows, but still going to do some big, you know, take some big hits to take out Gigalith for sure. But guys, let's get into this one. It is the Scary Skrelp taking on the Kyogre Canucks. Once again, a big thank you to Ted for recording this one. Canucks leading the line with that Spiritomb and the Kangaskhan. There it is on the Skrelp side. The Wartortle and Audino's got the Berserker, Melma, Hydreigon and Landor T in the back. Rylai's with that Laios, the Nidoqueen, Chargerbug and Delmise in the back. Protect's coming in the way of both Wartortle and Audino, seeing that fake out coming from Kangaskhan, and Snarl coming out from the Spiritomb as well, just trying to drop the special attacks on that Wartortle. You know, this Wartortle really just there as sort of interruption for the fake out and follow me's. But of course does have access to things like Muddy Water, you know, your Icy Winds and things, a Power Punch. You know, from Kangaskhan to Kangaskhan, going to get that 2 times attack buff thanks to that Parental Bond ability, enabling it to hit twice. Foul play coming out from the Spiritomb, you know, Rylaic maybe expecting a switch in that spot. Instead is Dazzling Gleam now going to come out from that Mega Audino, which has got Trick Room up. Snarl going to start dropping the special attacks on both Audino and Wartortle, as the Muddy Water going to come out now as well. You know, hope for some maybe accuracy drops. And that Kangaskhan though is getting stronger and stronger. It's got the 3 times attack now. Dazzling Gleam again from the Audino, just not really doing much, and Spiritomb could just sit there and spam Snarls all day long just to keep dropping those special attacks. Accuracy drop finally just come out into that Spiritomb, and the Double Edge is going to get rid of the Mega Audino as well. So I think maybe that is what Kirky was wanting, is just wanting the free switching to bring in the Melmetal, but only 2 turns left of Trick Room now for Melmetal to do its thing, and Kirky with 1-1 down as Delmise now does switch in. Follow Me comes out from the Wartortle. There's the double Iron Bash, gets rid of the Spiritomb, and now Kangaskhan able to switch back in and can get that fake out to Smash there from Rylaic. You know, getting the fake out off here into something like the Melmetal, you know, but it does go for the switch in. Protect coming out from that Wartortle, and that is going to be the final turn. Trick Room going to Hydreigon, taking a little bit of hit from that fake out. Power Whip going to get blocked by that Protect from Wartortle, and now the speeds reset as the Hydreigon and Kangaskhan, who are the fastest things on the field. The Hydreigon, as we mentioned there, such high special attackers. The Latias now going to switch in. Follow Me coming out from the Wartortle, and there's a Dragon Pulse. Oh, that was a little bit of an awkward switch, and Citrus Berry proccing on that Latias as well. There is a Power Whip to take out Wartortle. So it is now a 3v2, and in switches in the Melmetal then. Does tend to be the Citrus Berry on that Latias if there is no Mega on there from Rylaic, so not too surprising he's gone down that route. But that Dragon Pulse getting a big hit off it. I think Dark Pulse comes out from the Hydreigon. The Delmise just about hanging on. Orosphere not doing anywhere near enough to the Melmetal. Power Whip going to miss as well, and double Iron Bash is going to get rid of the Latias, and now it's all up to Delmise in the and to Kangaskhan in a 2v2. Hydreigon and Melmetal with it all to do for Kirky as well. They stand in the way of Rylaic getting victory here. That Hydreigon though I think going to move first, but Kangaskhan going to at least be able to get a fake out off here into something. Goes for the Drain Punch instead. Is it going to take out the Hydreigon? No, but does get quite a chunk of HP back. More importantly, there's the Dragon Pulse. Just puts it right back down to the HP it was at. Hydreigon going to go down that power from Delmise, and the double Iron Bash going to get rid of Kangaskhan. So now it's all up to Delmise. Delmise versus Melmetal in the 1v1. I think Melmetal's defense is just going to be just too high. Now it's going to resist that. Not quite enough. Double Iron Bash gets the job done. and Kirky takes the lead in this game, but a very, very close game one. Rylock getting rid of Ordino and Wartortle early on as well, really helping out. That High Dragon just getting some big hits off into game 2. We go, and Rylock switching things up. Goes to the Kangaskhan and Nidoqueen this time round, and Kirky leading off with the Melmetal this time. Brings out the Mega Ordino, though you'd expect to try and get that Trick Room up as soon as possible, just so Melmetal can do its thing. So got to be careful of an Earth Power here from Nidoqueen. You would expect it to be an Assault Vest Melmetal, so don't expect that thing to be using any Protects, but has got to try and prioritise getting that Trick Room up. So maybe a Protect from Ordino's way here. There is the Mega from the Kangaskhan. Protect does come out from the Ordino. There's the Fake Out, so does block that from the Protect. The Air Power is going to get the critical hit on the Melmetal. Down it goes. Nidoqueen takes out the major damage dealer for Kirky, and it is now a 3v4. Huge turn one for Rylock to try and bring himself back into this game. In switches in the Hydreigon now. That critical hit proving really, really huge there. There is the Mega now from the Ordino. Double Edge not gonna quite do enough. Takes it out just below, just above HP. Nasty Plot coming out from the Hydreigon. There's the Sludge Bomb from Nidoqueen. Gets rid of the Mega Ordino. And this has gone very horribly wrong very quickly for Kirky. In comes in the Berserker then. Hydreigon has more importantly got that Nasty Plot off, so it's going to give it really, really big amount of special attack. Fake Out comes out from the Berserker. There's it. Dragon Balls gets rid of the Mega Kangaskhan, but the Ice Beam from the Nidoqueen. Oh, Hydreigon just about hanging on from that. And now in switches in Delmise. So Nidoqueen already revealing that Ice Beam, but that Nasty Plot on Hydreigon being up is going to be so huge. You know, that Delmise is not living a Dapples, and neither is Nidoqueen living a Dragon Pulse. Anchor Shot comes out, that gets rid of the Hydreigon, and Ironhead gets a big amount of damage off to the Delmise, but now in switching in the Latias. Berserker with it all to do now, and this looks to be tying up as one of these. Aura Sphere gets a good amount of damage off. There's the Anchor Shot as well. The Berserker does manage to hang on. Ironhead gets rid of the Delmise, and it is a 1v1. I think this is going to be it though. The Latias is going to be able to get the killing blow and ties up to 1 apiece. Into another game 3 for Kirky we go then. So this is his second one as a week, leading the line with the Ordino and the Melmetal again. So risking it all for the biscuit, and this time Rylock with the Charger Bug and the Nidoqueen. So we saw how lethal this was last week against the Bulu boys. So Charger Bug with that battery ability going to be able to give the Nidoqueen a boost to its attacks. You maybe see Kirky going for a switch out here on Melmetal just to try and preserve it for this time. You know, no Fake Out possibilities this time round from Rylock. So Ordino more or less safe to get that Trick Room up, unless Rylock decides to double down on that thing and leave the Melmetal alone. Does switch in, brings in the Wartortle instead. Protect comes out from the Ordino. There's the Sludge Bomb. So good stuff there from Kirky, reading that coming in the way, and the Mudge Slap comes out from the Charger Bug to drop the accuracy on Wartortle then, so that's potentially could get quite scary later on. You know, if you can start spamming those Mud Slaps, you're just going to have, Kirky's Mons just unable to hit anything. Kangaskhan now switching in place of the Nidoqueen. Out comes to follow me. It's going to take another Mud Slap as Wartortle, and Ordino does get the Trick Room up. So Kirky's well quite cleverly not switching to the Mega just yet. Of course, it gets the Fairy type ability when it Megas. Kangaskhan does go for the Mega, gets the Fake Out off into Wartortle. Melmetal has switched in, and there is the Mud Slap from the Charger Bugs. It's going to drop the accuracy on the Melmetal as well now. So is this the way that Rylock's able to win this game? We're now still at 4v4, turn number 4. Helping Hand coming out from the Wartortle. That double Iron Bash is going to get rid of the Kangaskhan. Mud Slap goes off again into Melmetal. Just going to drop its accuracy right down, but it didn't seem to matter too much that time. Does get the KO onto Kangaskhan. Now in comes the Nidoqueen. So we saw Nidoqueen getting that critical hit on the air power last time and getting some big damage off to Melmetal. 2 more turns of Trick Room to go. Does Keki go all out with the Melmetal to try and get damage off, or does he switch it out and try and preserve it, keep the Hydreigon? Does switch it into the Hydreigon. Protect comes out from the Wartortle, and Protect coming out from the Nidoqueen as well. Mud Slap not going to do anything to Hydreigon thanks to that Levitate ability, so smart stuff there from Keki, making good reads there. Follow Me comes out from the Wartortle. There's the X-Scissor from the Charger Bug and Ice Beam from Nidoqueen as the Nasty Plot goes off for the Hydreigon. So Keki again just timing that Hydreigon, bringing at the right time as Trick Room ends, meaning Hydreigon's got that speed and got that speed advantage over Rylai's side. So like I said, you've got 2 heavy hitters that work under both speed controls. Protect comes out from that Nidoqueen. There's the Follow Me again. Dragon Ball's going to get blocked by that Protect. And there's the String Shot from the Charger Bug. So that's going to half the speeds of both Hydreigon and Wartortle. So that puts Keki in quite a position here. Follow Me coming out from the Wartortle is going to take that Sludge Bomb. Down goes the Nidoqueen. Dragon Pulse though is going to go down. It's going to take out the Nidoqueen. X-Scissor does a huge amount of damage into Hydreigon from Charger Bug there. It is now a 2 versus 3. Ordino switches back in now. Latias, the final mon for the Kyogre Canucks. Ordino goes for Mega Protect coming out from the Hydreigon's going to block that Ice Beam as the Mud Slap. Going to drop the accuracy on Ordino as well. Ordino going to be able to get that Trick Room up more importantly, so making good use of that String Shot there then. Sorry guys, I'm not too sure why the footage is starting to lag here. Might sort itself out in just a second. Dazzling Gleam is going to do something. I'm not too sure what's going on. The footage has gone super laggy here. But the Melmetal now is going to switch in. It looks to have leveled itself out there. Protect coming out from the Melmetal. There's the Dazzling Gleam into Latias as well. Mud Slaps. Just Rylai going all out with the Mud Slaps. Just try and drop the accuracy so he can get this hit of Double Iron Bash. Though is going to get rid of the Latias, is it? Yep, gets a critical hit second time around. Now it is all up to Charger Bug. Charger Bug is just a Vengabus with a dream, going with the Mud Slaps again on that Melmetal. I think this one is game, set and match. Charger Bug really has nothing in its locker to do enough damage to both of these things. It can only really Mud Slap its way out of this one. You know, String Shot really not going to help it out too much here. The accuracy drops might be able to save it life due. Going to give Melmetal some of that HP back. There's a Double Iron Bash. Slowly but surely chipping away at that Charger Bug's health. That thing is, you know, strangely bulky. I know it gets the Eviolite, but Dazzling Gleam going to miss thanks to that accuracy drop. Double Iron Bash though, not going to miss. Melmetal gets the final KO, and Keki with win number 3 under his belt keeps himself in second place then with yet another win, and Rylai falling to another defeat, moving him to that 1-2 record. So GG's to both guys. Charger Bug almost making the dream work in the end, but not quite to be. Melmetal just proven to be too strong. 17 kills in 3 games, guys. That Melmetal is on an absolute tear, as is Keki, and looking like a real force to be reckoned with thus far in season number 5. But let's get into the next game then. It is our relegation 6-point, our early doors relegation 6-point, and both of these teams obviously looking for that first win. One of them going to get that first win in this game for sure. So going to be a spicy game. You would expect them to be both going all out to get that win in this one. Incin looks to be a very strong bring for this Newcastle Thunderers team, as it always is. You know, one thing I will mention is both of these players do have their comfort picks, and picks you will see very regularly. You know, with David, you're going to see that in DD Fimo, Incin, Gudra Hisui, and Weezing Galar very frequently. And as with Ormi, you're also going to see Hitmontop, Ludicolo, Klefki, Chandelure, and one of Morwal or Medicham alongside Neuven as well, I would think. So, you know, something like the Insane, if he's able to sort of rotate that around with the Intimidates and parting shots, can keep Morwal at bay. Of course, Morwal, if it goes to that Mega, going to get huge power. Same with Medicham as well, going to get that pure power ability, which is more or less the same thing. And Snarls as well, going to be able to keep the likes of Chandelure and Ludicolo at bay from Insane. So I think Insane, the key to victory here for Dave and his Newcastle Thunderers. But similarly, on Orma's side, you know, that Medicham is so good into a lot of Dave's team here, as is Chandelure. You know, Chandelure gets like Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, Heat Wave, that is going to do big damage into the both those ice types. You know, your Dark Pulse is going to do good damage into Indeedee female as well. So those definitely going to be phenomenal brings for Orma. Very wary for him if he does bring the Neuven. I think it's very risky to do that, knowing that potentially there's an Arctozolt and Ninetales Alola waiting in the wings to deal with that. Of course, you know, Neuven with that 4 times ice weakness, not going to enjoy taking a Blizzard or an Ice Beam from one of them two. And similarly, you know, Arctozolt, of course, with that Slush Rush ability, it's going to mean that those Bolt Beaks, you know, are going to allow it to go first, unless Trick Room is up, of course, and then Bolt Beak is going to get that double damage buff. But yeah, I think I think it's very much straightforward what each team is going to bring here, and it wouldn't surprise me too much if it's those 6. But guys, let's get into this one. Newcastle Thunderers taking on California Bastions. This game and the next 2 games preceding it are replay games, so I will do my very best to keep up with the action on screen, but you'll have to bear with me. But let's get into this one. Is Newcastle Thunderers taking on California Bastions. Indeedee female and Gudra lead the line for Dave, Hitmontop and Ludicolo for the California Bastions. Intimidate going to come out from that Hitmontop, and Incineroar, which is going to get the Intim onto Hitmontop. So no eject pack damage. The expanding force comes out, it does a huge amount of damage to Hitmontop, and Ludicolo knockoff coming out from that Ludicolo, so it's going to knock off the Assault Vest more importantly, and of course Combat. Oh, gets a huge amount of damage there. If there was no Intim on the Hitmontop, that is, you would think, going to Orcos. Out comes the Morwals, it's going to drop the attack on Instant. Expanding Force, so it's going to get rid of that Ludicolo and gets a huge amount of damage to Morwal. Darkest Lariat doing that little bit more damage as well. Now in comes the Chandelure, then Morwal goes to Mega and comes out with a Protect. Shadow Ball comes out from Indeedee, gets a big hit into Chandelure. Heat Wave though, going to get rid of Indeedee. Snarl going to drop the special attack on that Chandelure and almost taking it out as well. And now in switches in the Gudra Hisui, Mega Morwal switching out, in comes the Hitmontop to drop those attacks further. Heatwave going to get rid of that Incineroar. Is now a 2v3. Breaking Swipe though is going to get rid of Chandelure and going to drop the attack of that Hitmontop more importantly. Now in comes the Mega Morwal 2v2. Arctozolt switches in, taking out the Hitmontop with that Bolt Beak, getting that attack buff. The player up going to get rid of Gudra Hisui, taking a bit of damage from that Rocky Helmet. Is now all up to Arctozolt. Arctozolt going to be faster. I think Bolt Beak going to be enough to get the job done. There it is, and Newcastle Thunderers take the lead in this game number 1. Straight into game 2 we go, and it is the Ice-type duo of Ninetales and Arctozolt, Ludicolo and Klefki the other side. So a little bit of Weather Wall potentially in this one. Fake Out going to go into the Arctozolt early does, and Thunderwave comes out into that the Alolan Ninetales Icy Wind. Going to drop the speeds of Klefki and Ludicolo. We expect Klefki to go for that Rain Dance this time, allow Ludicolo to get its Rain Dance activated. In comes the Indeedee with its Psychic Surge. Rain Dance comes out. There is the Muddy Water. Arctozolt taking a big hit from that, but no accuracy drops. Bolt Beak. Oh, Ludicolo just about hanging on from that. Alolan Ninetales going to switch in to reset the weather. Expanding Force is going to get rid of Ludicolo. Klefki not taking too much damage from that, but does go for the foul play, which is going to do a chunk of damage to Indeedee, and Hail going to do chip damage away to Klefki and Indeedee as well. As now in comes the Neuven, which is a very scary prospect, seeing there is a Alolan Ninetales facing off against it. The Paralysis though procs this time, and Klefki going to be able to get the Indeedee female down, so it is now 1 apiece down. 3v3. In switches in the Arctozolt then, but straight away switches in the Incin, gets that attack drop in. Now Neuven switch out, in comes the Chandelure. They just switch outs all over the place, and the Alolan Ninetales going to get paralysed once again. Foul play, not doing too much to that Incineroar. Rain Dance comes out, and the trick comes out from the Chandelure, so can give the choice specs to that Incineroar and reveals the choice specs on that Chandelure for future games. The Snap coming out though to drop that special attack on Chandelure more importantly. Now Event coming back out again, reveals both the choice items. Not that Omen didn't already know that. Snarl coming out again, gets the hit on both, and it's going to drop the special attack on Neuven as well. Foul play. Not really doing too much there to Incineroar. Tailwind coming out from Noven. There's the foul play from the Klefki into the Axel. That takes it out. The Snarl going to miss the Noven this time around. Klefki not going to be too hassled by the special attack drop. Now in comes the Alolan Ninetales Draco Meteor. Not going to quite do enough to Incineroar. The Icy Wind though is going to do a huge amount of damage to Noven. Noven and Klefki going to go down to the Hail this turn as well potentially. But Snarl, no, is going to take it out instead. And now all of a sudden it is 1v2. It is all up to Chandelure against Alolan Ninetales, and the Incin is going to go down to that Shadow Ball. Icy Wind, so of course that is Choice Scarfed. Alolan Ninetales was locked in Icy Wind, and Chandelure is going to be able to tie us up at 1 apiece. That trick play from Oma proving to be the deciding factor there, paying dividends, and brings Oma back into this one as we have yet another game number 3 on our hands. Noven Chandelure with the leading the line for Oma. Taunt coming out from that Noven as there's the Heat Wave from Chandelure. That does so much damage to the Galarian Wheezing. Sludge Wave comes out. That's going to get the poison on Noven. No poison landing on Chandelure. Not too much damage on either side there, but the Draco Meteor going to take out that Incineroar. And Heat Wave going to get rid of the Galarian Wheezing. This is falling apart for Dave at the seams. It's all up to Alolan Ninetales and Indeedee Female then. Ludicolo going to switch in place of the Noven. Out comes the Blizzard. No freezes it would look like, but Expanding Force is going to get rid of the Chandelure. Ludicolo going to go down to that Hail as well, so all of a sudden in one turn it switched right around. Of course, Alolan Ninetales does have that Scarf, so Noven not going to be moving fast. That Intim from Mega Mobile not going to do too much. Of the Blizzard going to get rid of the Noven, and now it's all up to Mega Mobile. Mystical Fire going to do a huge chunk of damage into Mega Mobile as well. Going to drop the special attacks to Ironhead. Going to get rid of Indeedee, but this one is going to be game, set, and match. Alolan Ninetales going to be able to get the KO. Protect, not going to save Mawar here. Can't protect for 3 turns in a row. And Big Dog Dave and his Thunderous going to take their first win of the season. Oma and his Bastiodons continue that luck for the first win of the season. They'll be looking out next week to try and get that W under their under wraps. But congratulations to Dave getting that first win. Yeah, as I said, more or less it was going to be the same 6 as you would expect from those two. They have their comfort picks, and that's to their own prerogative. But they played out a really exciting battle there. At one point in that game 3, Dave just looked done and dusted, and then all of a sudden it was back to 2v2, and Dave was right back in with a shout of winning. So good stuff there from Dave. As we move on into game number 5 of this week, and it is a Space City PC taking on South Croydon Saws. Both teams on 1-for-1 record. We'll be trying to Crizzle and his South Croydon Saws will be trying to win on build upon that win last week. Me and the Space City PC will be trying to bounce back from their defeat to Miami Heat last week as well. But one thing that does shout out to me straight away is, of course, you've got 2 terrain setters in Coco, and you've got Rillaboom on the Space City PC side with that grassy terrain. Definitely a little bit of a terrain war potentially at play here, but that Rillaboom is going to work so well against Ursaluna. We know Crizzle likes to bring that thing as well, but does have to be careful. You've got the Ninetales and Victreebel sort of duo on South Croydon Saws side. That Ninetales Heat Waves are going to do big damage to Rillaboom. But Meme has also got Arcanine on his own side that can make full use of that Sunbeam up as well. So Crizzle got to be careful, try and play around that and try and get rid of the Arcanine early doors so he can take out the things around it. I think we'd expect this one to be a one that Inteleon stays at home. You've got big threats in the likes of the Coco, Victreebel, the Ursaluna, even potentially if Trick Room does go up under that with that Dusknoir, then Inteleon is in a world of trouble. It's of course so frail. It's not likely to live any hits from something like the Ursaluna. But yeah, Drapion's been putting in really big work for Meme in the Space City PC thus far as well. So potentially we see Drapion coming. Those poison type stab attacks. You can get some good hits into something like a Tapu Koko. And you've got things like you knock off a Night Slash for things like the Dusknoir. Try and take that out before it gets Trick Room going off. Same into Lunaton and Orbeetle should they come along as well to work under Trick Room. But guys, I'm not going to ramble too much on this one. We're going to get straight in this one with in a replay battle, and we'll rattle on through. But this one is Space City PC taking on the South Croydon Saws. So apologies, the scoreline is back to front here. You have to bear with us. But Crizzle leading the line with Weavile and the Ninetales. Meme with the Arcanine and the Druddigon then. So Druddigon makes debut as the Ursaluna going to switch in. In comes the Rillaboom to get that grassy terrain going. Protect going to come off from that Ursaluna. Fake out going to hit that Arcanine, stop it from doing anything. I think the Ninetales actually had a jetpack there from the Intimidate. So smart stuff there from Chris. Gets the Victory Bell in with the Ninetales. Out comes a Heat Wave though, and the Victory Bell going to go straight down to that. It's a little bit of an unfortunate switch in Ninetales. Not going to take too much damage and get some of that damage back. Now in comes the Weavile, and again not in a great position with Arcanine having that Heat Wave, who does get the fake out off again. Heat Wave going to come out from the Ninetales, not going to do very much into the Arcanine, and Druddigon switching in there for that Rillaboom. So smart reads there from Meme. Out comes the triple axle. That should get the job done. Should it hit all the times? It does. The ties is up at 3 apiece. And Heatwave though going to come out. Nigel's not going to take care of him, but the down goes the Weavile, and the Arcanine goes to sleep for doing that. That's Crizzle's revenge. In now comes the Ursaluna with that toxic. It did have the toxic orb, so it's going to have its guts ability activated. It's going to double its attack. Heatwave going to come out now from the Ninetales. The Gallade does manage to tank that, and the high horsepower going to get rid of the Arcanine. Is it 2v2 now then? Mega Gallade and Rillaboom against Ninetales and Ursaluna. Ninetales going for that Protect. The Faker comes out into that Ursaluna. Drain Punch going to get blocked by that Protect. Very much a nothing time, but that Sun now does end for Ninetales, and of course no way to switch it out, so no way to get it back up unless there is a sunny day there. Grassy Glide comes out. The Ursaluna just about hangs on. Drain Punch going to get rid of the Ninetales. Is going to get some HP back from that. The Facade going to take out the Mega Gallade, but the toxic damage unfortunately going to get rid of the Ursaluna, and Meme going to take the first game. So now in comes the Hawlucha and Coco duo. Unburden on that Hawlucha going to get procced, allowed to go super fast. Druddigon and Arcanine this time from Meme. Acrobatics not doing too much. That Druddigon either is Brave Bear. Druddigon managed to tank both those hits. Heatwave doing some big damage into Hawlucha, gets the burn on the Coco. Not that it matters because Ironhead from Druddigon is going to take care of it. Tailwind now from that Hawlucha, the high horsepower, and Ursaluna going to get rid of Druddigon, and Heatwave going to miss both Pokemon on Crizzle's side. And now in switches in that Rillaboom, just such a problem for that Ursaluna. Fake Out going to stop the Hawlucha from doing anything, but the Facade gets rid of the Arcanine. That thing just hits like an absolute truck. Now in comes the Mega Gallade, going to go for the Protect. Grassy Glide, it does manage to tank it much better this time. Acrobatics blocked by the text, and Chris going for the double in there into the Mega Gallade, and Ursaluna losing a little bit more HP, does go for the Protector block that Grassy Glide. So Hawlucha goes to the Acrobatics, and Rillaboom managing to tank that hit. Rock Slide coming out from the Mega Gallade. Hawlucha just about hanging on for that, thanks to the defense buff from that Electric Seed. Hawlucha now does go down to that Grassy Glide, and that's an unfortunate switch into the Drain Punch, going to take out the Weavile, and all of a sudden now it's all up to a low HP Ursaluna. Grassy Glide going to get the job done, and Crizzle and Co. going to go down 2-0 to Meme. Space City PC, our Season 4 champions, getting another win under the board, and Crizzle then moving to 1-2 early doors. So our Season 2 and Season 3 finalist struggling a little bit in this early stages of the season, but that's not to be said. That we've got plenty more Pokemon left to play, plenty of time for Crizzle to bounce back, as I'm sure he will. I did a little bit of a stuttery start last season as well, so as did Meme. And I mean, look at Meme. Meme was 0-4 at one point last season and ended up winning the whole thing. So absolutely anything can happen here in the British Pokemon League. So do not count your chickens on that one. But into our final game of the week then, it is the Colossals taking on Scuba Squirtles, as we mentioned earlier in the show. Dr. Dave and his Colossals are looking for that first win of the season. Niels, of course, losing out to Inglorious Surfers last week, but did get the win over the Kyoga Mechanics in week 1. So Niels on that 1-for-1 record, and has really been making great use of that Zoroark Hisui, but definitely got to be careful where that thing's concerned. If Dave does bring out that Moltres Galar, the Fiery Wrath, Zoroark Hisui's only weakness is to dark types, and Moltres Galar, of course, can be able to take full advantage of that. As we've seen in recent weeks, Dr. Dave has really been trying to get the Gothitelle Stored Power, Cosmic Power sort of set to work. I think more than likely he's going to try and get that off. I think only really Morpeko are going to be resisting those stored powers, and I can't really see Niels bringing it. So you know, Neil's really going to have to take care and try and play around and get rid of that Gothitelle. Of course, Gothitelle with that shadow tag ability means Neil's going to be unable to switch things out. So if he gets his lead wrong, in a little bit of a sticky position unless he's got a switch out move. You know, Oranguru as well, you know, is such a bulky Pokemon, but more importantly, he's been getting yawns and knockoffs off on Dr. Dave's side that have just allowed Gothitelle to just do what it needs to do and just you know, get those cosmic powers off. Unfortunately, people have seen it coming. We've seen red cards and just thought that Gothitelle from powering up. We've seen a bit of all sorts. We've seen Drapion, you know, just resists to Gothitelle, have stopped it from doing what it wants to do. And, you know, there's only tends to be Fake Out and Starred Power on there as damaging moves. So, you know, definitely got to be careful if there's any resists in that lineup of 6 on the Scuba Squirtle side. But otherwise, I think that Gothitelle might be out to come out to play. We've seen Gliscor last week as well, really put in the work. You know, and could work really well against the likes of that Manectric and Bravery Hisui as well. So potentially something that Dr. Dave considers bringing, you know, as well as Mega Ampharos as well. Mega Ampharos working well into a lot of that team. Just got to be careful in case that Manectric doesn't go for its Mega. You can obviously activate its Lightning Rod ability. But anyway, guys, let's get right into this one. Our final game of the evening is the Criminal Colossals taking on the Scuba Squirtles. I will say in this one we are going to watch through all the games. Unfortunately, Dr. Dave did have his Mons leveled wrong for game 2, so did forfeit that one. So once we get past game 1, you will see the score tie up. But let's get in this one. It is the Criminal Colossals taking on the Scuba Squirtles. And as you can see, in that lineup for Dr. Dave is the Gothitelle and Oranguru. Beedrill is there, as is the Gliscor, Comfey, and the Moltres Galar. And the Manectric going for that Mega goes out for the Drill Run. Manectric managed to hang on. That Mega Beedrill just about hanging on, but the Muddy Water going to get rid of that Beedrill. And Trick Room does go up from the Oranguru. Gothitelle now switching in, and here we go. The Trick Room is up. Cosmic Powers come out, and the Manectric ready to take a nap the next time. Muddy Water and Thunderbolt's not really doing too much, and does get the accuracy drop on the Oranguru. And another yawn coming the way of Milotic. Cosmic Power going up again for that Gothitelle. Does get the accuracy drop this time. Volt Switch going to do a little bit chip damage away to Oranguru, but going to allow Manectric to switch out. And in comes Manectric. I wonder what that could be. It is, of course, the Hisuian Zoroark knockoff. Going to reveal that Zoroark, and it does reveal the Colbur Berry as well. Muddy Water now does get rid of Oranguru. So it is now a 2v4. Muddy Water not doing too much to that that Gothitelle Milotic, taking a fat nap. And now in comes the Galarian Moltres. Fiery Wrath going to get rid of that Zoroark Hisui. And Milotic taking a bit of damage there from it as well. So Neil's got to be careful not to proc any weakness policy. The Dazzling Gleam comes out not doing too much. That Moltres does proc the policy then. Out comes the Ancient Power. Anamorous just about hang on. There is a Stored Power. Anamorous goes down, and Gothitelle gets itself another kill on the board. Now in comes the Manectric Mega Protect coming out from that Galarian Moltres. Going to block that Thunderbolt. Milotic does wake up this time though. Gets the Muddy Water off into the Gothitelle, but gets another kill with that Stored Power, and that's what we said. If there was no resist, that Niels would be in a hell of a position. He's going to proc the Berserk with that Ice Beam, not quite doing enough, and Fiery Wrath going to get the job done, and Dr. Dave going to take that first game. I said we are going to go to 1 apiece. Niels taking the forfeit win in that game number 2. So into game 3 we go, and Beedrill this time starting out goes to that Mega and goes straight for that U-turn, which does reveal to be Zoroark Hisui and not Manectric, and in comes the Galarian Bed. The Shadow Ball, of course, not going to do anything into that Oranguru. It does resist Ghost type with it being a normal type Pokemon. Yawn now into that Milotic, and out comes the Fiery Wrath. Colbur Berry not going to save that Zoroark Hisui, and Dr. Dave with an air lead. Ice Beam is going to proc that Policy on the Galarian Moltres, so Neil's really going to play it carefully. In comes the Manectric and Anamorous. Yawn coming out from the Oranguru. There's the Ancient Power, does exactly the same amount of damage as last time. Dazzling Gleam not going to do enough to the bed, but is going to proc Berserk. More importantly, Manectric goes for that Mega then in a focus, going to block the Intimidate. Protect, going to keep the Anamorous kicking around, but the Drowsy effect from Yawn goes onto the Mega Manectric as well. Mega Manectric just about hanging on. Volt Switch though is going to get rid of the Galarian Moltres. Now in comes the Milotic. Anamorous going to take a fat nap, and now in comes the Gothitelle once again. Drowsy's going off left, right and centre. It is a whole slumber party up in here for Neil's team, and just has no answer for that Gothitelle. The Muddy Water misses both Gothitelle and Oranguru this time. Cosmic Power is just going up left, right and centre. Knockoff, going to knock off that Expert Belt on Milotic, and now both Milotic and Anamorous asleep. In switches in the Mega Beedrill then. Cosmic Power coming out again for the Gothitelle. Poison Jab going to get rid of that Enamoris. Is now a 3v2. Melodic still asleep. Out of stored power. Melodic does manage to hang on. Now it's all up to a very low HP Mega Magnetic Trick. And Melodic Poison Jab for the Beedrill's going to get their job done. Melodic does wake up, but it's too little too late. And Dr. Dave is going to get the first win on the board. Finally gets that strat going with the Gothitelle. Amazing scenes there from Dr. Dave. It's so great to see that strat finally work out. Unlucky on Neil's side, just had no answer for that shadow tag, unfortunately, and those yawns really doing the damage there. So it falls to 1 and 2. Dr. Dave getting that first one on the board also means he's 1 and 2. So let's take a quick look at the league table, what that means for the league table going into week number 4. So Miami Heat still unbeaten, still yet to drop a game on 3-0, followed closely behind by Scary Scrub, also on that 3-0 record, that +4 game difference. Aaron, with that 2-0 win this week, moves up to 3rd place on 2-1, followed behind Space City PC and Deimos Deoxys, both on that 2-1 record. Space City PC moving back up to 4th place. So Niels and his Scuba Squirtles drop down to 6th place, followed behind by Kyoga Canucks and Bulu Boys, who finish out our top 8. But you have got 6 teams on 1 and 2 there, so it's incredibly close at the bottom. Hardly anything separating them game difference wise. You've got South Croydon Swords, Criminal Colossals, Newcastle Thunderers and California Bastions in that bottom 4 slots. So absolutely anyone's guess how we're going to look at the midway point and how we're going to look at the end of the season. But guys, that is going to do it from me, your host, Matt Starr. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. It's been a little bit of a shorter one. We had a lot of replay games this time around, so I hope you don't mind that. But we'll be back at the normal time, same place of twitch.tv/British League next Monday at 8 PM, providing that I aren't on fire. It was way too hot on Monday to do the show. Unfortunately, my flat is on the 3rd floor and it is like a hot oven in here, even at the best of times. So it was a no bueno. So I do apologise for that, but we'll be back to normal next week. And as I said, tomorrow you can catch this week's TBPL Championship show hosted by Aaron T. Marshall right here on this Twitch channel as well. You can catch the reruns of both shows later on at the weekend as well on our YouTube channel. Just search in British Pokemon League onto YouTube and you will find us as the first option when you look us up. But guys, that's going to do it for me. I've been your host, Matt Starr. I will bid you all good night and goodbye. Mwah.